everyone. Let me turn it down ever so slightly. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. We are here with the lovely Texas Teachers and the even lovelier Sea Fresh. We're doing a little bit of an intro into our PRIDEfgc event. It's finally here. We have been absolutely busting our tails getting everything ready for this and are super excited for everything that we have going on this weekend. 12 plus brackets, a bunch of panels. We'll be going over all of that as we go. But Sea Fresh, Tibbers, you want to say hi?
Hi. I just want to say I'm super excited to be back. I was lucky enough to be on the FNF where you guys announced this, which was month ago, 2 months ago, and I think things have grown into something really cool.
Absolutely. We are so excited. We're currently sitting at almost 200 entrants for the event, I believe, which is just incredible. We're super happy with the turnout so far. Speaking of people who've been busting their tail, Texas Tibbers, how you doing?
You know, like some of our homies would say, sois muy cansada, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Honestly, I couldn't be more hype. I know I may not sound it, but I'm very hype about the event. There's a lot of cool things, a lot of cool people, and honestly, it's just really awesome to see everyone come together and like about things that they're passionate for a good cause. So.
And I mean, the cause is really what the whole thing is about. You know, we here at OEG and all of these orgs, we do a variety of charity events in FGC, whether it's helping out homies who are looking to get their tickets purchased for Evo or anything like that. OEG specifically, you know, we do a lot. Extra Life every year. We have our Share Love event around Valentine's Day for domestic drivers. But for Pride, of course, you know we had to show up and show off a little bit for our flexing our charity muscles and get some of this put together. We couldn't do it without the help of all of the awesome orgs who have also volunteered their time throughout the weekend. We can do a lot, but there are 12 brackets over the course of one weekend is a little bit more than just putting your nose to the grindstone can do. We're really excited to be partnering with all these super cool orgs and get money raised specifically for the Trevor Project for something we've done charity events for before. And as you all know, you know, through, if you're more familiar with Ember's old charity tournament run pretty frequently, we have all sorts of stuff that is kind of contributing to that over the course.
I mean, I think one of the coolest things you've done here is that, you know, for that door price, the charity price of entrance, you can enter any of the events that you guys have out here all weekend, which is really unique. It's going to get a lot of people into games that maybe they don't prioritize as much but still love, but you know, they normally don't get to enter these things because it's expensive. It's hard to enter a bunch of brackets if you're going to go to a major.
Yeah, and we see it shout out in the chat, Soul Bad Guy Fan Reg for 9 out of 10 of the brackets. And we also have the mystery bracket on Sunday, which is going to be an absolute blast. I know they've been working really hard on getting the mystery bracket event. Even before we were getting Pride set up, you know, they were working on doing this mystery bracket event for OEG. And we were just like, hey, I mean, we're trying to do this like online major thing. You want to go ahead and pull your mystery bracket right on in here? That little guy in here. And I know they're very excited to be hosting that through Fightcade, which hopefully the Fightcade server stabilizes a little bit. I've heard there's a lot of people playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on there lately and have been giving Fightcade a little bit of trouble on the server end. But it do have, let's see, all of the stuff pulled up. Tibbers, did you have anything that you wanted to say about the Trevor Project and all the stuff that we've been cooking on so far?
So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people that have signed up for the tournament are aware of the Trevor Project. I feel like the LGBTQ community is very strong in the FGC, and that will sometimes make people like feel accepted, warm, and open, and that's part of the reason why the FGC is like so easy to just hop right into, I feel like. But for those who don't know, the Trevor Project has been up and running as a nonprofit for like 25 years or more, and they are a crisis response 24/7 resource for LGBTQIA, whether it's suicide prevention or crisis intervention. You can call them, you can text them, you can chat with them online. Their new chatting online tool is cool. We've got some of these resources and the links and the phone numbers in our Discord. So y'all feel free to go ahead and check it out. But really, the main goal for them is to do crisis services, advocacy, research, peer support, and they also have sort of like a very open stance on education around the LGBTQ community. And we just couldn't find a better org to want to raise money for, especially during Pride season. They are, every single day, the Trevor Project is involved with some sort of fundraising or charity event. And I actually spoke to the directors of their fundraising department and got their blessing for our event. And they were super great and awesome. They gave us their like some resources and some tips and talking points, and they were just the most pleasant to work with. So we're excited to have their blessing and honestly to raise money for such a good cause. And it's very near and dear to a lot of our hearts. So,
and through the Seafresh kind of mentioned how we were doing the entry. Now we've had some learning lessons with the entry fees for sure, but I think they've worked out super well. It's $5 entry, gets you a higher event. Registration's still going to be open as well for a lot of these events. We'll be going over the schedule a little bit later, but wanted to just shout out that the $5, all of it goes straight to the Trevor Project. There's a little bit of extra tacked on there just as like events or something, just to cover the transaction fee. And so, oh, is my mic scuffed? Oh, hold on.
I think you're good. Did you bump it? Or
I might have hit my mic or something. Yeah, I might have literally scuffed my mic. I'm talking with my hands and my mic's a little too close. That's okay. My nap alarm is going. That's my bracket nap alarm. Don't worry about that one.
You nap before bracket?
Every time.
That's insane. How do you recover?
I got a bracket alarm. It's fine.
What a sicko.
Here we go. I'll be able to maybe move it up just a little bit more.
To give us some insider knowledge, Seafresh, Prize TOs are very patient with his pre-bracket.
They know what's
brutal.
up. They're like,
in your own
listen,
home?
sometimes I wake up for check-ins, okay? I'm there by check-in and everything's fine. I'm sure Jackie Nuts can attest in the chat that my pre-bracket naps on occasion get me a little bit messed up, and it take me a little bit longer to recover from than others. But
speaking of TOs, how many TOs and volunteers do we have?
Do we know? I don't know if I have an exact number off the top of my head.
It's a chunk.
Yeah. Do you want to?
It's like 10 orgs across all your brackets, I think,
Yep.
and then at least 2 TOs for each of them.
I love that. At least 3.
At least 3. Yeah. I'll shoot Westy a message and see if Westy can actually get us the number on that. I know he had worked hard on the volunteer graphic, but like I was saying, as far as donations go, we have the $5 from every registrant goes into a PRIDEfgc pool. And then we also have $3 out of every purchase from our merch store will also go into that pool. Where we can pull up a link there for the stream as well. Our merch store is specifically set up to where it is set to basically the lowest amount that it can be, and then we add on $3 to go into the charity pool. We also have a direct donation link as well as matcherinos for every single game that already all have a little bit of a kickstart in there. And it's a 75-25 split, so it is 75% going to the Trevor Project and 25% going to the top 3 of the players. And that's, just so there's a little bit of incentive there, and the players can obviously opt to send their portion of their prize winnings project, which a lot of them do anyway, but just a little bit of extra potential lunch money, to incentivize people to come out for some brackets. Awesome. I think our mystery bracket currently has the highest prize pool of sitting at like to I think $80 raised and like $25 for the actual prize pool, which is wild. And big shout outs to Wii Sports and all of them for getting that put together. Let's hear.
The people crave mystery brackets.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when it's run by someone like Wii Sports. The Williams Sports knows their games, and I want to sign up, but I'm afraid that I'm gonna be deep in it, being like, "Wii, help me out! This is a game I've never heard of before."
And I just got word from production that we have over 34 volunteers, so TOs, who are helping us out this weekend, as well as 24 commentators. So, as you can tell, lots of people coming in to pitch in for this. And I think that's as good a time as any. I can pull up our schedule. This may be a little bit of a flashbang because I didn't have this one already up there. Or actually, you know what we can do before that? We can go ahead and play our intro trailer. This is the trailer for all of our orgs and all the wonderful games they are working with here. I'll go ahead and up our ad.
Very cool.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.
Back here. And of course, that is start.gg/PRIDEfgc, exclamation point pride in the chat. If you want to generate that link. Go ahead.
That's lovely.
Yeah, big hype, big fans of all of these orgs who are coming in together with us. Go ahead and get our schedule pulled up here. Make it a little bit smaller for us. Well, beautiful stuff. The schedule is pretty robust for sure. We've got some panels as well that aren't in this version of the schedule graphic, but you will be able to see listed out in the Discord tonight. Actually, starting, I think, right now, question mark, should be the Them's Fighting Herds bracket. I do see like Ham and Jackie are getting things ready in there with our friends. What's happening here?
I was gonna say, shout out two of our commentators hanging out in the chat, Hamalak and Jackie over on Them's Fighting Herds. I think Jackie's also over on Grand Blue, which will be tomorrow.
Hello, Pluto's Grass. Yeah, we have the Grand Blue is going to be hosted by the band server. Some awesome stuff. Hamlag, my goat. Yep, Ham's going to be working on 2 different brackets for us this evening. Hamlag Games, what? Pretending to be surprised that you're people's goat. I like it. I like it. But yeah, tonight, starting right about now, is going to be Them's Fighting Herds over on the Herds Battle Tower. And then later this evening, we're going to also have Skullgirls on the Wild Arcade official Twitch channel, which both of those, was really, really happy to see them kind of come through, because both of those orgs actually reached out to us and were like, hey, we like what you're doing. We want to get in on this. We want to host our game. We want to bring our game into the fold. You know, we had originally started off with like, hey, what's like the top 8 games at EVO this year? Let's make sure we get those, and then from there we'll kind of work on it. So I was super happy to see Them's Fighting Herds and Skullgirls get some representation this weekend as well, because they're both awesome to watch.
For sure. I think Them's Fighting Herds is very cool. I love that the community's still with it. I don't know what's the preferred patch right now, but the game's had a really long, interesting history. Like as an indie fighting game, that's super odd as well.
Yeah.
I think it's on the same engine as Skullgirls. It was originally on like the Fighter Maker 2D engine, and they ended up on the same engine that Skullgirls uses.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I have. It's actually my little fun fact for the game is that the design is all by the same person who did the original, or not the original, the new version of My Little Pony, which is why it's all feels so familiar, like sister games, both on the Z engine. The French bread game in disguise.
Kinda,
nice.
a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of Marvel in there too. It's Them's Fighting Hearts is pretty cool. You should definitely go check it out if you haven't. There's a lot to love there.
Been a good chunk that's changed since the last time I played. I dabbled, you know, I am the token dabbler of our establishment, and we did a little bit of Them's Fighting Herds back in the band server, and the game was super, super awesome. I did hear there's 2 characters that are just banned in competitive tournaments, which I was like shocked to hear, because it was like, oh, apparently there's been 2 new characters in the game since I last played. Oh, both of them are banned. Never mind.
Things are a little interesting patch-wise right now. I'm intrigued to see how the community ends up, you know, working through it, but you know, I think the fact is that the game has a good community behind it, so I'm sure they'll figure something out.
I mean, anytime that a community can band together, and despite one has had their ban lifted. Yeah, I noticed there was one that like the character is fine unless they do like a specific combo or something, or like a glitch that makes them fireball immune. I was reading over it earlier with some of my TOs, and it was really, really awesome to see though. But always seeing those communities kind of coming together and being like, hey, we want our game to stay healthy no matter what the actual state of the game is. Let's just go ahead and take care of this thing that's pulling us down a little bit.
Skullgirls also pretty incredible. How old is Skullgirls? That's got to be the oldest still updated fighting game, right? Like Skullgirls is like 10 years old by now.
I feel like Skullgirls has been around for basically forever.
And they just got a new character. They just got Marie.
Yeah. I mean, the cycle for Skullgirls is super interesting too. You know, these last 2 characters seem like they were in development for 100,000 years each, for sure. But I mean, they eventually did come out 2012, if you're correctly. Even longer if you count how long it's been in development for.
Insane.
Yeah, 12 years old, still coming strong. And honestly, one of my favorite things about Skullgirls is the presence. I mean, one, how easily viewable it is. It's just such a fun game to watch and kind of like pick apart as someone who knows nothing about the game, right? It's like, oh, I think I noticed that they might have done like a little reset in there or something. And just the sheer presence that the Skullgirls team has at FGC events. And I ask this question every year. I'm just like, man, where does this dev team get all their money from? Because they always have the biggest booth. It's like the Red Bull booth and then the Skullgirls booth. And those are the 2 powerhouses at like an Evo or something, right? And it's just like they're at every single thing. And it's super, super cool to see how much those developers really stick themselves into it.
Yeah, Skullgirls is my favorite game that I suck at. Every year I promise to get into like an assist fighter, and this year is Skullgirls, and I stuck with it decently long, but man, I'm bad at that game. I really want to knuckle down and get deeper into it. I'm a Black Dahlia player, so
Ace.
I was pretty excited about her addition.
Absolutely. That character looked real cool. I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching all of the we watched Sonic Fox test that character at like, I want to say Evo 2 years ago or something. But that's the character that really just like was in development for 100,000 years. So I feel like 8 of the last 10 FGC majors I went to all had that character being demoed. And then finally making it out is definitely awesome. And then also coming up tonight, pardon me, that is not. I was looking to pull this link up.
I believe you.
I also believe, not the Tiltify, the Google Doc, the extended schedule. So tonight,
oh yeah,
tonight we also have at least one of our panels starting at 8 o'clock over on Manzizme. Sorry, excellent shout out, Manzizme. is going to be doing a panel talking about how every Guilty Gear Strive character is gay, really, for real. That's gonna be one of our first panels of the night. And then also tonight, later on, oh, thank you, Prostitute. Tonight, later on, we're gonna be hosting some karaoke, and we'll be figuring out exactly when and where that is gonna be happening, but it will be most certainly happening in the Pride Discord. Haven't had a chance to pop in there.
I definitely love the panels a lot. Like all the stuff you guys are doing alongside the tournaments. It's even different from a major experience. It's a lot more like a convention. If any of you have or have not had the chance to go to one, you'll see I think a lot of panels along those lines. So it's a great thing that they're providing here.
Yeah, definitely loving this. Our goal was really to bring vibe and experience of a major into the space, which is tricky in some situations, right? Like casuals, how are you going to do that? The like walking around, meeting with your friends and all that kind of stuff. But we definitely, I see, we have a replacement Timbers. But definitely wanting to bring the vibe of the offline major into the online space. And we wanted to bring as much of the stuff that people really love. And me and Timbers, having both worked in the event space and we go to anime conventions all the time, as well as fighting game tournaments, the panels was something that we thought could really kind of bridge that gap and bring some more of that, like, hey, I have something to go, and like I'm walking into the PRIDEfgc space than just, oh, I'm just watching a tournament and then going to bed, right? I'm here, I'm gonna watch a panel, and I'll walk over here and watch the Skullgirls top 8, and then I'll come over here and do some karaoke or maybe play some casuals or something on Discord, which is definitely the vibe that we're shooting for at the very least. We'll see how it goes throughout the weekend. And hello, Mr. Westfield. Oh, there you go.
There we go. Yeah, I was just saying, like, it really makes it bring in that feel of like as close as we can to being a major while being online as we can. We gotta have that those other activities for people to jump in on and stuff. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
that is not Timbers. That is Mr. Westfield joining us in. We had a little bit of an emergency that I think we had to go.
We often are referred to as brother and sister, and so just think of it as like a sibling swap.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and then going into just kind of running through some of our schedule for the weekend. Tomorrow is really one of our more jam-packed days. I mean, it's Saturday, right? You want to get everything as much as you can in on Saturday. We have the lovely folks over at Training Mode Network. Dove is going to be running Guilty Gear Xrd first thing in the morning, bright and early at 1 p.m. And then starting at 2, we're going to have Tekken 8 beginning over with our friends at Rosario Syndicate, hosted on the Electric Wind Raman stream. That's going to be at 2. Following that up at 3 o'clock is Granblue Fantasy Versus over on the Seinfeld stream with our homies over at BAN. Honestly, these were 3 of the really, really core groups that we reached out to very early on. BAN is kind of our sister server. It's a server that I grew up in. They host awesome beginner brackets, as well as, I mean, at this point, I think they host Tekken, they host Granblue, they host Street Fighter. They've got their Strive brackets, a monthly open bracket. They're really spreading out all over the place, and it's really, really awesome to see. Training Mode Network as well. If you have any interest in the classic gears, Training Mode Network is the place you have to be. They have such a healthy community for Xrd. They have an awesome community for Plus R as well. It's where one of our good friends and teammates, Wii Sports, goes for his Plus R fix every week. And it is definitely an awesome place overall.
Yeah, I'm excited for all 3 of those brackets, but I think especially Tekken 8, and I have not seen a single Tekken 8 bracket that has not been incredible to watch. The game has been just a great addition to the FGC for sure.
I think Tekken 8 is like, I was talking earlier about how, them's Fighting Herds and Skullgirls are really good spectator anime games, but I think Tekken 8 is just like the quintessential spectator game. It is just so easy to consume, and you don't need to know what a Korean backdash is. All you know is that like this dude
just out there punching each other,
yeah,
you know?
This dude in a fur coat is like working on this other guy, and there's some madness happening for sure.
Yeah, I have a lot of love for Tekken. Like, as somebody who knows nothing about it, it does feel so intuitive to watch. Like, it helps. It adds so much to understand what the players are doing, but at the base level, you can stand at the back of the room and cheer with everybody else. It's definitely a game I love to hang out and watch the top 8s for.
Yep. Crowd always goes absolutely bonkers. It's too good, honestly. And we've got our friends over at Rosario Syndicate. They're a little bit newer to the actual like hosting of brackets, but we wanted to make sure to bring them in. They've been working with us to host OEG's Tekken bracket over the last month, which we're very, very excited to have on Sundays. But we you know, wanted to bring them in as one of the orgs because it's hard to exist in the FGC space and not have at least seen Rosario Syndicate around, right? You see that RS tag and it's just like, oh hey, yeah, I reckon keep seeing that tag around. What's with all these like pink Twitter handles? Like what's going on over here? And Rosario Syndicate are just a super chill group. They have a ton of players and a ton of variety of games, and I'm excited to kind of have the opportunity to work with them and let them flex their TO pluses. And over here we have for the rest of our Saturday blocks starting at 5 o'clock, so we're basically going on an hourly time basis at this point for things, and we'll hopefully be able to wow, yeah, show the team league. We'll get there. With this at 5 o'clock,
we're excited for the team league.
We'll be having everyone hopefully working through and kind of raiding into each other. So everyone who's watching Exert will hopefully still be there by the time the Street Fighter 6 starts. We have our friends over at 9 Moons, one of the larger orgs who's going to be helping us out this evening or this weekend. They're, of course, I mean, 9 Moons has been around for ages and has hosted a ton of awesome events, and they've been doing dabbling into the Street Fighter 6 and Tekken realms a lot recently. So excited to have them on for our Street Fighter 6 streams. And coming over from the Paragon team, we have Khalil, who was personally recommended to us for hosting the Dragon Ball FighterZ event as well. I know Dragon Ball FighterZ has had its struggles as far as spectator bugs go recently. they've been going through it just a little bit.
You know, working with 9 Moons lately has just been an absolute pleasure as well. It's just their whole group over there they're just a bunch of sweethearts. They've been great to work with, so I'm excited to see that tournament pan out as well.
Absolutely. I mean, my goat Envy, you know, suppressed Envy is
OG,
the OG for
FNF player.
Real excited.
We were trying to get Envy back into competing. We can't get it going. I need to see Envy on the sticks.
I've seen Envy slid into an FNF here and there recently. And it's very, very exciting. I mean, Envy was one of the first players who really came into Fight Sticks and Flash Kicks, our weekly Strive bracket. And, you know, Envy came in, just kind of like swept the bracket for a couple weeks and was like, all right, I need some more competition on Thursdays. I'm going to reach out to all of my buddies and bring them in here. And so we owe a ton to Envy over here. Fight Sticks and Flash Kicks. Something that we talk about a lot, but Envy has done a lot for us, and we're really excited to have them here. That is going to be it for our brackets on Saturday. We should be wrapping up right around 10 o'clock, but we will be there in the Discord, probably hosting some casuals. I'm going to be trying to play some Strive this weekend because I have not quite gotten to dig into Slayer as much, so I'm going to be trying to host some casuals in the Discords. But we do have over on Kamiku 1, they are going to be hosting a Basics of MTF makeup stream, and they'll be raising some funds for the Trevor Project as well during that. But a really, really awesome panel that'll kind of be running down some stuff that you don't necessarily learn super intuitively when you're growing up, and can get some more experience by just having a little bit of extra helping hand and potentially point to some resources as far as those makeup streams go. I know Texas Timbers has talked to them a whole lot more than I have, unfortunately. I will definitely be there at the very least to support that stream when it comes around. Hello, guy. No, you're not late. We're currently just running through our schedules. We just finished up talking about the Saturday portion schedule, which is going to be a good chunk of our brackets for the weekend.
Kai is one of our showcase artists, I believe, which I think we'll probably get into all of them later, but it's another exciting facet of the event.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have a series of showcase artists, all volunteers, and we're not charging anything to any of the people who are participating with us, because I know I had some questions about that earlier. You know, these vendors and panelists are so used to having to pay like an event fee to set up a booth, all of that. We're not doing any of that here. We're just thankful that they are offering their time up to us and bringing in some of their art and some of their love and passion that they brought to FGC or the LGBTQIA+ scene, and really bringing in more of those voices as we can.
Absolutely, it's about showing that support and showing the love for sure.
Absolutely.
It's like you're doing.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you're doing like the one beautiful thing here of bringing together all these orgs that were probably already streaming this week, already running tournaments, and putting them under this one beautiful umbrella. And then on top of that, I think people in the FGC can struggle to express themselves. They feel like the only thing they have is like maybe they'll make a top 8 graphic. They might not have a platform as such, but people are making beautiful art, or have these thoughts they want to express, or make some beautiful music that you might get to hear later. And there's not necessarily a great place for that, but you guys have it out here in your panels and events and with these artists.
And all of our artists are featured in the Artist Alley portion of the Discord. If you join in on the PRIDEfgc Discord, we have a cosplay central, the panelist plaza, the vendor villa, and the Artist Alley. All sorts of really cool stuff. We have some good vendors in there as well. I know SGF has been a huge supporter of the event as well. They've been promised I believe they're pledging 50 cents per entrant as for this bracket, as well as New Heads Gorilla Gambit this weekend, as well as New Heads. I forgot to mention them earlier. They're also pledging. They have a Strive bracket that's going to be running on Sunday. They're also pledging 50 cents per entrant in that. The one time we get to encourage a little bit of double bracketing.
Yeah.
As you can see, we have our Strive bracket on Sunday, so hop over there, come back over here. We'll be coordinating with our TOs to make sure there's no unnecessary DQs for double bracketing. Just an entry over there is 50 cents for charity. Don't you love that? Yeah, and then we will be doing we're aiming to do a kind of spotlight showcase stream, panel similar to this one for all of our artists, where we can kind of deeper dive into some of their works, check out their Twitters and stuff like that, and have more kind of structured shout outs for them as well in a live stream format. That one's still slightly in the works. We're getting the times nailed down for that one.
But I love that. I mean, like, artists struggle so much with even finding a gallery site now, right? Like, people talking about, like, oh, is Twitter a good way to showcase your art? Are people able to see what you're doing there? And it's really hard for these people. So, like, to have a dedicated showcase to them, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I can definitely relate to that to an extent, just from the small amount of stuff that I do for like the FNF top 8 graphics. I'm very proud of those kind of Monster Hunter stylized icons I made for the Guilty Gear Strive characters. But it's one of those feelings of like, all right, cool, I posted this like 8 months ago, and now it's just kind of dead and will never come back. Right? Like, there's no way that my Testament art from 8 months ago that did really well 8 months ago is ever going to come back unless I repost it, resurface it, and kind of get some of that rolling. Which I love websites like Twitter and Tumblr for that initial boom, but then after that, where are you going? What are you doing? How are you also bringing people more eyes in and getting yourself kind of inserted into areas like the FGC can be really, really helpful for you as well. How to just show art, exactly. So getting into our Sunday poll just a little bit, we have Saki Sakura, a goat of the community, a longtime big fan. She did an Anji character breakdown for us 2 years ago now.
Jeez,
no,
yeah,
just
it's been
a
a while
year ago now, because it was for Combo Breaker last year. So it was just a little over a year ago, did a Anji character breakdown for us for Guilty Gear Strive. Has been killing it in the Mortal Kombat scene, and while the Mortal Kombat scene online isn't quite as strong as the Mortal Kombat scene in person, I've noticed, it's one of those interesting kind of works of Mortal Kombat, I feel. The online scene is kind of, you know, whatever, and then as soon as you put it at an in-person event, it's like, oh, this has 300 entrants at DreamHack Dallas for some reason. I don't understand what's happening.
It's the most popular fighting game. I mean, it's especially for people outside the FGC, like it might as well be MK and then Power Gap Street Fighter.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. And I mean, it's always the game that I reference when I'm talking to like normies, right? Where it's like, hey, I play fighting games. I do commentary for fighting games. I have an org that has fighting game players. We do all this stuff. And they're just like, what do you mean? What's a fighting game? I'm like, you know what a fighting game is. It's Street Fighter, it's Mortal Kombat, it's Tekken. It's just way newer than the version you remember. And I will say this Mortal Kombat 1 is a absolute blast. I played through the story mode. I didn't quite have the free time in my week to really dedicate to picking up the game full time. But playing through the story mode, I had so much fun. The characters all look so cool and feel super satisfying to play. And, you know, give it or take it for some people on like the NRS style. But I think that Mortal Kombat, this one especially, has a really good appeal.
I think it's stuck with people. Like, I'll see people who are invested in other games, you know, whenever a new character drops in Mortal Kombat, they'll come back and they'll lab that out for the week and get really, really deep into it again, even if it's not their main focus, which is cool.
And so that is going to be at 11 a.m. Central Time on Sunday, the 23rd. And then starting right after that at 12, bright and early, practically the crack of dawn, we've got our Super Smash Bros. Ultimate bracket, which Westfield, you are a little bit more familiar with some of their stuff than I am, but you know, it's been a really interesting story with Onsai Gaming where we've kind of ended up with this roster of Smash players via our League of Legends team.
Yeah,
which has been such a unique experience where, you know, we're recruiting, we're trying to get our League of Legends team for wonderful brackets like the Aegis League of Legends season, which we participated in and will be in the future for sure. But we've been putting together these League of Legends teams, and then it's like, oh hey, that's funny. You used to be like a power ranked Smash player. Oh, you're just the best Yoshi online? That's weird. You're also just like really, you run a Smash local? Why are all of these Smash players on our League of Legends team? It's just kind of popped off from there, and we're really excited to have some Smash representation at the end.
Yeah, you know, AGN has been like really helpful coming back and forth with us about like getting into how do we bring in Smash players? What do Smash players need that's different than the rest of the FGC? Because there's some differences in like how they can like enter brackets and what kind of expectations that they have from that for the rest of the scene. And so that's been really interesting to work through. You know, they've basically uprooted their local. They run a local. And they've uprooted it, and they're going to be running it online for the first time with us for this event. So we're really excited for that. And you know, one thing is with all these Saturday and Sunday brackets is registrations are still open. So if you see any of these kind of tournaments that we were talking about on this stream, and you're excited about maybe popping in for one of them, feel free to still register. Your registration for any of the games applies to all the games. So
yep. You can get in the front door at any time. Registration, for the most part, as a rule of thumb, is going to be ending an hour to 2 hours before the actual bracket starts, just to give us a little bit of time, check-ins and for seating and for all of that, and getting our end of stuff figured out as people are coming in. But I know how it is. A bracket isn't real until it's about to happen for a lot of people in the FGC. So it's definitely, we want to give people kind of that time to get in. And if you're already signed up, it's basically free, especially stuff like our mystery bracket, which we'll be covering next after Uni 2. we'll have a Uni 2 hosted by the Big Bombing Brawlers. We had the pleasure of doing a team battle between BBB and Ban a long time ago, and noticed that they were running a Uni 2 weekly. We're just like, hey, let's get them in here. We'll run some Uni 2. Uni 2 has been an awesome game since its release. I think it's kind of boiled itself down, very similar to Mortal Kombat, where it's kind of brought itself down to its core audience pretty quickly. I think Mortal Kombat and to a lesser extent Street Fighter, but Granblue for sure, and Uni all had big booms when they first started, and then boiled down to like, oh yeah, these are just Uni, right? That happened pretty quickly. But Uni 2 has been an awesome experience. Has been the combos in that game are super satisfying. If you are here to see some, or just curious about what real anime gaming looks like, Uni 2 is going to be your game to see.
Uni 2 I'll always describe, it's up there with Plus R as the best game to just pick up and hit some buttons in, because of how the Gatling systems in both games work. I think they just feel incredible to be bad at, which is really hard in fighting games. Like, being bad at a fighting game mostly sucks. Like, you don't get anything done, you don't do any damage, you don't do anything impressive, and you're just like dropping all the time. And Uni 2 is one of those games where, you know, you can do like ABC special on your day one, and you're like, dude, I'm cooking. I'm really playing the game out here. And that goes all the way up to, you know, eventually you become an expert, and you're, you know, Defiant entered in Pride this weekend, and you might take home the whole thing.
You know, they had some Uni 2 cabinets at Texas. I think it was Texas DreamHack Dallas. Yep. That I sat down on the first time I played the game and just spun the stick and pressed a couple buttons, and I was cooking Pariah, and I was like, this game's real fun.
Yeah. Or you can be like me and play a DP character for the first time and just be like, I'm having so much fun. I don't know. Oh, setups, that's funny. DP again.
Pariah, are you telling me that Testament does not have a good reversal? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Listen, I'm a Slayer player. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm a Slayer player. What are you? Does anybody else have any Slayer players we should know about?
Uni 2 is very cool, and honestly a good kind of addition. They had some net play issues at the very start for sure, and they still, it is mind-boggling to me that we're in the year of our Lord 2024, and I have to be afraid of alt-tabbing a video game because it might crash the lobby. But all of those small issues aside, Uni 2 has a very dedicated community and a very hype game. They fixed that? Did they really?
No, they did not fix the alt-tabbing. Yeah, you have to play them, and I produced this game. You got a borderless window. I have a lot of love for it, but it is it's a bit of a Jenga tower sometimes.
Understandable. Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of Wii Sports is going to be our lovely host of the mystery bracket this year. If you want to share any you want to share any hints on what to expect for the mystery bracket, I know they have a huge list of games they're going to be hosting via Fightcade. If you check out the Discord, I think they also have currently something like 19 people registered for the mystery bracket. Absolutely killing it. Every game is going to be a unique game, and via Fightcade has a really cool system that it will basically just like speed download the game for you. And the games are like, they're 20 megabyte games because they're old arcade games. So they take 0.5 seconds to download. You can slide in on whatever Tetris versus game or weird old fighting game or Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or whatever it is. We're going to cut one game and run it for casuals before the bracket. I like that a lot. Be able to hopefully see some of that. I know me and we have had a long-running rivalry in a particular Fightcade golf game, to the point where I'm now unironically on golf TikTok. I just need the world to know.
It's so funny.
It started off as like just me goofing around with Wii playing Neo Turf Masters, right? And then it moved on to like, I found this mini golf TikTok guy, right? And I'm hitting holes in one. No. I found this guy who does mini golf TikTok. I'm like, all right, this is pretty funny. He does like competitive mini golf tournaments with his friends. That's silly. And now I'm just like, I'm on golf swing advice TikTok. And I'm like, I'm not ever going to put any of this into practice, but I am going to send it to Wii Sports because it's the funniest thing I could think of sending to him right now.
Dog, y'all play Yoshi's Cookie? We gotta get Yoshi's Cookie in the mystery bracket. That is the most competitive Fightcade game I know of. Squanto knows. Let's go.
Squanto knows what's up.
Squanto
there you
knows.
go. And then wrapping up our brackets for the Sunday block, our final bracket of the evening is going to be Guilty Gear Strive. We kind of worked through some different iterations of how we wanted to format some stuff. We wanted to bring in that kind of major vibe and have the pools on a different day than the actual top 8, but with online brackets, it's really hard to schedule people, work with people's schedules and stuff like that. We decided to put everything on the same day. So starting at 7 p.m. is going to be our Guilty Gear Strive bracket, hosted by us here at OEG and Fight Sticks and Flash Kicks by extension. One shout out that I do have to make is, let me just refresh real quick. I don't think we've gotten any new entrants since we started stream. Just kidding, we did.
Real close.
We're currently at 59 entrants for the Guilty Gear Strive bracket, our biggest bracket of the weekend. And if we hit 64, I'm dyeing my hair blue. So 5 more people, that's what, $25? If you got 5 friends and $25 in your pocket, get them in here. I'm probably going to have to like call a hairstylist today, and maybe if we get the 64 entrants soon enough, I'll get my hair dyed blue for the bracket. You never know.
There you go.
But we're
you
super
at home
excited.
Can install blue hair and pronouns onto Pariah for Pride.
Exactly.
It'll match your suit. There you go.
Yep. So really excited. We've been running Guilty Gear Strive for almost 2 years now, which is crazy to think about. Fight Sticks and Flash Kicks is our Thursday weekly that we just had, our kind of quote-unquote pre-local for the Pride event, which was a whole lot of fun. And it's the Strive scene is such a blast. I'm so in love with this video game. No matter what people say about the seasons or whatever, I love this video game to death, and it will take a lot. You'll have to pry this game out of my cold dead hands, I think, to get me to actually full-time swap to a different one. It's just super fun. It's one of the least anime fighters. I think Granblue kind of maybe gives a little bit of a run for the money on that, because Granblue is literally just Street Fighter, but it's just more colorful Street Fighter at the end of the day. But Guilty Gear Strive
Granblue's arguably not an anime fighting game. Like, it depends on where you want to draw that line.
Exactly. Strive is like anime Street Fighter. There's a lot of interesting stuff. I think Strive is becoming more anime the longer that it is alive. I think Slayer, Granblue's just doing his thing. Yeah, I think Slayer and Wild Assault are definitely more on the anime side of the things, and it's kind of leaning itself more and more. The crazier things get as the game gets older here. It's
That's your definition. Like, the more you just die, the more anime it is.
Yeah, I think so. That's how anime games work, right?
The more time you spend in the air and the faster you die, the more anime it is.
Exactly. The more you feel like you need
sense.
a way out of a combo,
Listen, we're FGC outsiders. We're new to the scene. This is the definition we've walked into.
Have you seen Plus R? Yeah, there you go. So does Mortal. Okay, Mortal Kombat does have some crazy. Mortal Kombat's kind of anime though. I think NRS games are like honorary anime.
MK1's kind of anime, like the whole cameo system and everything. Yeah. It's definitely getting up there. If time to kill and time in air are your metrics, MK1 might be a little anime.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, so we'll be doing that, and that will be our final bracket of the weekend. Leading off strong, which we kind of assumed going into it, because our community is so Guilty Gear Strive focused, and we kind of had the most guaranteed pull right out of the bracket. We kind of assumed that Guilty Gear Strive was most likely to be our biggest bracket, so we put it right there at the end as a good kind of finale send-off for the weekend. And I mean, I think that we're currently our next biggest brackets. We got good entries for 25 for Granblue Under Night, as well as 30 plus for Street Fighter 6, which we're very, very excited for, all of those as well. But we went kind of out of our way in a lot of ways to stretch ourselves out into these other fighting game markets, which has been a really, really interesting experience. As some of you may know, we had an invitational system this year where we, on top of just trying to market as much as we could and bring in as many players as we could, we had 5 slots for each game, which we brought in as invitational players. For Strive, it was players like Danny and Razzo, and we had a variety of players we reached out to in all of our different games. Not all of them got completely filled out of the 5 invitational slots, but we wanted to bring in some high-level players in order to kind of bring in that experience where, at worst case scenario, we end up with 5 top layer players and have a nice showcase for Skullgirl and on our Skullgirls bracket or whatever, right? And so it was really interesting reaching out into those other communities and being like, okay, hey, I've never really interacted with the Street Fighter community very much. How am I going to go in here and get some of these top players interested at all? Because they don't know what Fight Sticks and Flash Kicks is. Even we're a big Strive bracket, but a Strive bracket to a Street Fighter player is like, all right, cool. You are you guys the ones who play on laptops in the bathroom? Like, it's definitely been really, really interesting branching into some of the 3D spaces and bringing in some new friends from the experience.
And a lot of this event is like, how can we, bring all of these communities together, everyone in together for support for Pride, and, spread the word, get people involved, get people thinking about how they can get their communities involved, and, that whole, helping one group helps another, which helps another, and then you don't know whose lives you've changed down the road because of, these charity events that you put on. So if your community's ever been thinking about doing any kind of charity work or charity events, like, just do it. Just get out there and do it. It's worth it. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it every time.
Definitely. Speaking of, if you are interested this weekend, you can stream with I'm so bad. I'm a bad host. I didn't have the hashtag PRIDEfgc in my title. I've been telling everyone to do it, and shame on me. Anyway, if you would like to get in on some of the PRIDEfgc action, we do have a static donation link via Tiltify. If you want to, throughout the weekend, if you have a side stream or you want to stream your bracket run, throw the hashtag PRIDEfgc into your title, push that donation link, get a little bit of money raised, and it all goes to the same place. It all goes to an awesome cause, and is a really, really fun way to kind of get more people in, and getting more. Sunday, we do have a couple more of our panels. We have an 3-hour long, looks like, live music stream with Nat Alien. I know this is a good friend of Texas Tibbers, and she was super, super excited to get some musical representation. She had a lot of experience back in the Twitch Sings days, kind of networking with a lot of music artists and stuff. And a lot of them are still friends of ours who hang out in the Discord and play games with us on occasion. But Twitch Sings, unfortunately, no longer a thing, so everyone had to learn how to play instruments as well. Nat Alien is a really, really awesome music streamer, and will be hosting a music stream on Sunday at 3 p.m. That is going to be getting followed up by a history of queer characters in the FGC by the lovely Beatrice Renhart. He has been cooking things up as well in the FGC. Awesome Canada local, I believe. If I remember correctly. I'm sure you've seen them posting on Twitter. If you haven't, send them a follow because they're very, very good. That will be getting followed up at 8 o'clock by... We couldn't have any kind of event without talking our friends over at Narwhal into hosting a tier list stream. It just has to happen. I don't know. I have no idea what they have in store, but I almost guarantee that the tiering stream is going to be pure chaos. It's going to be over at our friend Mari... let me get this typed out here. Maru Maririn. Boom. Just like that. Mari Sky Metro is going to be hosting the tier list stream Gay Stuff Edition, which I'm personally thrilled to see what actually that's going to end up being.
I'll say two things come to mind. It's either they're going to, Kinsey scale the characters out, be like, like where they're at on the spectrum, or it's going to be like, how powerfully gay you are. Like, people are gonna be in the trenches. They're like, look, Zato, magnitude-wise, more powerfully gay than Soul Bad Guy. The blood will be drawn.
Yeah,
guarantee you, whatever it is, it's gonna be a
fights.
twist.
You're starting fights in my heart on that one already, because I feel like Soul Bad Guy is an icon. Like,
Is that a beautiful butch lesbian on my For You page, or is it yet again Soul Bad Guy?
Right now is like if Super Turbo always had max damage and stun for every attack.
Dude, I'm playing Slayer. Look, okay, I've been working for 3 years playing Faust, who sucks. I've had enough. I'm playing Slayer and I'm hitting people and they die, and it's great.
I feel you. I've been on this Testament grind for too long. All right.
It's
I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to hit people 8 times to kill them. Okay. I want the Axel player on the other side of the screen to know that if he lets me in, it's over.
The Leo Whitefang player, I have no comment on this situation.
Bum. If I hear the words fuzzy flash kick, I'm gonna lose my mind. Regarding the event stuff, like, I popped off seeing Nat's event. Like, the live improvisational music is fascinating to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. I think she's gonna do live looping, but also include acoustic instruments, which is very interesting. Probably played through a mic into some looper pad. I don't know. I'm so like envious. I really want to go tune into that and try to like understand everything that's going on, because doing it all live is fascinating to me.
Yeah,
and I could guarantee you that from what I've been hearing from behind the scenes, next year too, we're gonna probably see 10 times as many musical guests, because we've got a lot of interest for the music portion of this, which we think is really important.
I'm linking my SoundCloud.
Yeah, there you go.
Bring it in here. We mentioned this earlier at the start of the broadcast too, where we wanted to bring in some of that, like, everything should be a little bit more convention-y, or could be more convention-y in the FGC. And have these panels. You can have musical guests and after parties that are a little bit more structured like that, and it's something that we want to see at majors a lot more. And so when we're doing our own kind of online version, for sure we're going to bring that in as much as we can, because I mean, people love karaoke so much. Imagine what those same people would do at an after party rave. You know what I mean? Akon has an after party rave. That's all I'm saying. They have a Strive bracket too. That's the FGC major of the year.
That's all it takes.
The Strive bracket's like 12 people, and it's like 2 locals and a bunch of teenagers. It's great. But yeah, we'll be getting more of that stuff kind of coming and going as we move on through the weekend. Let me see here. What else do I have currently? That's it for as far as the actual event rundown, the nitty-gritty of it. We got 12 brackets. Check it out on the start.gg. We have the schedule posted there, as well as registration. $5 gets you in. Like I said, $25 and 5 friends, and I'll be dyeing my hair blue this weekend, so you can definitely count on that.
And if you really haven't gotten a chance to yet, go check out those artists and those cosplayers and those vendors, because they've got some really cool stuff in there. And SGF's got their promo code for discounts and stuff as well as their supporting for the event. So
yeah, the Apes make some beautiful controllers. I've been pretty sorely tempted to go pick up one of those, and they're also really
need
sweet
something
people.
small. It'd be nice to get something small. I could see that.
Go ahead and get that. Let me see. Do I have wood here? Use promo code PRIDEfgc. PRIDEfgc is the promo code, all caps there, for $10 off orders of 100 or more. Valid from 12 this morning until 12 o'clock on the 23rd. So it'll be valid all weekend. Use those promo codes. The homies over at SGF have been awesome partners as well. They're doing the donation matching from over at the New Heads for their Gorilla Gambit bracket as well, which are very much appreciative of.
And our merch shop. Check out our merch shop. We've got all the proceeds from the merch shop. Any income we make from that is all going straight to the going straight to the Trevor Project, as well as $3 for every stuff in there. And we've got a lot of pretty cheaply priced shirts in there with some cool art that we put together. So check that out if you haven't seen it.
And
yeah, there's so many ways to get involved. Like,
yeah,
you know, there's still time to enter all these brackets. Reg is still open for most of them. You can watch all these events. You know, if you're not much of a fighting game player, you can still donate through their Tiltify, and you can also hit up these merch sites, and it's all going to the same wonderful cause.
And just as one final shout out, huge shout outs to the Trevor Project. They have also been really, really awesome in providing us a little bit of extra resources and stuff that you can post it over in the Discord as well. We have a little Trevor Project corner for them in there that you can walk on over to after you get badge pickup, you know, and all that. But they've been an awesome partner with us throughout all of this, and they've been an awesome partner for the FGC in general. They have their call centers as well as their live chat bot that is working now, and a bunch of really good resources for helping the disenfranchised youth in getting some of their problems that they've been facing in their lives. And we are very excited to be able to take some time out of our schedules in order to raise some money for them via the Matcherinos, via the Tiltify, via just people registering for this tournament, and just people normalizing the conversation is such a big part of this every single year for every event that we do. The biggest part of it is just have us all here talking about it and getting these orgs involved, getting their hands on it, and people will see this and hopefully be like, hey, that's awesome. I hope that Pride is back next year, and we will be back next year for even more awesome charity fundraising and potentially even bigger and better and badder than we were this year. But this year is looking to be plenty big and bad, that is for sure. And also just big shout outs to them for giving us their blessing, as well as getting all of those resources and everything kind of sorted out for. I think that is about it. Did you guys have anything else for Pride specific stuff?
I'm ready to go watch some brackets. I'm excited
to go watch some brackets as well. Before we go though, I would be remiss to not spend a little bit of time talking about the upcoming Aegis League for Mr. Seafresh. Listen, I said it was gonna happen. It is, let me tell you, that it is legitimately one of the most fun formats that I have played in the FGC. It is so hard to do unique formats because it always takes too long, is annoying, or just like, you know, you have an hour in between your first match and your second match. But their format for this team league is so well put together and spread out over a long enough time that everyone gets a chance to shine. It's a super, super fun thing. I believe registration is closed, but you can definitely check out the streams for it, because our team is going to be participating and we'll be doing some streams over here for it, but it's always a good time.
I really appreciate the shout out. Yeah, I mean, to dovetail with the Pride message, our thought here is like we want players to get to express themselves more, because we have all these lovely teams like OEG where you know, the best you could hope for at most events is like you end up team killing each other, which is sad. Like, we have these people who practice and like love each other, and they never get to showcase their skills together, which, you know, that's tough. And then, you know, the thing I was saying earlier about player expression of like, at best, you can hope to make a top 8 graphic, but a lot of, you know, people who love these games and come out every week might just get buried because it's hard to make top 8 in any tournament. And so I love to give players, you know, a little bit more time to tell their personal story, you know, whether here, you know, through all these events that OEG is running with Pride, or through their gameplay over the weeks of the Aegis League. So I would love if you came over and checked our stuff out there. I'm sure Pry will be streaming some of their POV.
And at the end of the day, you know, we're all out here playing these small, weirdo, niche games. We're just looking to put the community back into the fighting game community. We're all in this together, and that's the most important part of all of these events. And we will be sending things off. Thank you all so much for tuning in to our little launch party. I've got some prep to do for karaoke tonight, So make sure to keep an eye out for announcements regarding that. Yes, Kai, I do have you. I will be able to get to your question here shortly. We'll be sending a raid off to our Them's Fighting Herds streamers. Hold, please.
Yeah. Go watch Them's Fighting Herds. Go watch Skullgirls, and get in touch with PRIDEfgc if you want to be a part of any of these events over the weekend.
Yeah.
Their Twitch. Buy Mountain Dew. Don't buy Mountain Dew. It's bad for you.
Unless you want that Final Fantasy mount.
Yeah, unless you want that Final Fantasy mount, yes.
Yeah, so Mountain Dew is a treat.
Y'all go ahead, hop on over, send some love to our Them's Fighting Herds homies. There will be Skullgirls, which I believe is starting in about 8 minutes as well. You'll be able to check out over on... Make sure I get the right one for the shout out
Wild
here.
Arcade Official?
Wild Arcade Official with just one F on the F. Don't get caught by that, because I
don't get it twisted.
I did
That's
get
the
caught by
funniest
that
thing I've ever heard.
There we go. Make sure to check them out as well. Hopefully our Them's Fighting Herd bracket will be able to raid into them as well as things wrap up for the evening. We will catch you all next. Peace.
Peace out.
Bye.